I look at this and I just get so excited. What we have here is unique, I think, to the jazz idiom, jazz vernacular, and that is a series of measures with chord changes above it and nothing in these measures. Now, you might sometimes see slash chords and whatnot, but the gist of it is these are empty measures for us to create on. It's a blank canvas that we get to make up our own ideas on. Total freedom, but not exactly total freedom, because these chord changes dictate what's happening with the harmony, and it demands of us that there's a lot that we know in order to put this together. But even if we know these things, even if once we get to the point of seeing, let's say, B flat minor, and we know that that means B flat, D flat, F at a minimum, that's a triad, or B flat, D flat, F, A flat to the 7th, or B flat, D flat, F, A flat, C to the 9th, or B flat, D flat, F, A flat, C, E flat. Am I right about that? The 11th, right? Or up to the G, the 13th. We know the chord with the triads, the 7th chords, the 9th, the 11th, the 13th, the extensions. We know the chord scale behind that. Oh, it's a Dorian. There's a lot to know. There's a lot to talk about. That doesn't mean that that turns into music. So you could be shedding your tail off for a long period of time. And I run into people for whom this is the case, regardless of age, all of the time. And I get it. Okay, I'm shedding all this stuff. I'm practicing this. I got this book of licks. I got this, that, and the other. I transcribe, etc., etc. And now when I face this, when I get to the measures, the empty measures with chord changes, I fold, or like my 11-year-old son would say, I sell. But I look at this and I just get so excited because it reminds me of how I first got started playing jazz, which was in high school, playing with my peers and some mentors who were a few years ahead of me, who were much better than me, and we would just play along to Aebersold play-alongs endlessly, hour upon hour upon hour on the weekends. And I would sit there and I would listen to Juan or Joe or Alex, or I would watch this, and this is what this video is about. Hey, guess what? I'm gonna tell you about 3 things. I swear to there's 3 things. Sorry to swear like that, but I swear there's 3 things in here that I do want to tell you about. There just happen to be 3, but also like that's what I have to do now for the algorithm, or you won't stick around. But anyway, I would look at the measure like this with the chord changes, and I would listen to somebody playing, one of my friends playing, and as I'm tracing the form of the song, I'm listening to them, I'm going, gosh, that's cool what they just played there. And I might just quietly, while they're playing, they might play a thing, like maybe they get to this part right here. And I noticed that over this section, they play like an A, kind of make an A there, and that sounds really cool. And then they go up to right here, they go up to a B flat. It's going to take forever if I try to write it out like this, but this is going to, oh, it's not going to let me, but let's just pretend this is a B flat. Right here is a B flat, okay? We're pretending that's a B flat, and then they hold the B flat. Oh my gosh, why does that sound so good? And then I begin to like deconstruct it, right? I recognize, it won't make any sense if I do it all by myself, but I'm gonna play you this track that I recorded for you. I recorded a track for you. I should have said that at the beginning. I recorded a track for you. If I'm talking fast, it's because this is like the 5th time I've recorded this video, and either the camera is not on or the screen recorder is not on, and I'm ready to just like, but I do want to share this with you. So basically, I recorded a chorus of me playing this. This, by the way, is Along Came Betty by the great Benny Golson. It's a beautiful tune, and it's a very challenging, at least in my opinion, it's a very challenging standard to play over. Is it playing? Do we hear it? Okay. Not just because of the harmony, the sophisticated harmony, but also this medium swing tempo. Don't sleep on this. This is not easy. Just because it's not fast does not mean it's easy. It is not easy. In fact, I would argue that this tempo is harder than more up-tempo things. You gotta be in the cut with this. You gotta be in the groove. You gotta figure out where the quarter note is. How do you make the quarter note swing? You can't just play swing 8 notes over this, or it's gonna be terrible. There's a deeper thing to it. You gotta lock into the triplets. Boom, bap, boom. So there's that. But then what do you do with all this great harmony? The thing is, it's not that this song has incredibly complicated chords. Look at this, very basic, minor, dominant, major, 2/5 stuff and major chords and a couple of minor 2/5s, a flat 9, a sharp 9 here, there. But you got to know what's behind these things. You got to know which notes are the most important, 3rds and 7ths, and then what notes are the color notes, like 9, 11, 13, tensions and such. And if you're not careful, the thing is, like, one note will sound great on one of these measures and like totally soured to terrible on the next measure, you know? And you got to know about that. You got to know how to anticipate so there's a lot that you have to know, but I want you to have fun with this. We got to have fun with it. And here's the thing. We have to practice improvising. We have to practice the actual act of doing this, of filling up this space with meaningful melodic ideas. That's a thing that has to be practiced, in my opinion. It certainly has for me. So I recorded one chorus of me playing, not because it's the most amazing chorus over Along Came Betty ever. It most definitely is not. But because I'm the one who recorded it, I have the unique advantage of telling you what I was thinking when I was practicing, when I was playing it, what I'm aiming for and why. And I hope that that will be helpful for you. So again, I will put the recording in the description so you can pop that up on and play along with it. And there's the first chorus is me. Have a listen, have a look, and then off to the races you go. Okay, so let's dig in here. We'll just listen. God, I hope this thing is recording, because if it isn't, then you're never gonna see this, because I can't do this another time. I'll just mark the measures. Okay, great. So now I've put all this in here. That's, oh no. Oh man, please tell me I didn't just, what did I just do? What did I just do? Okay. I can't do this video again. I will lose my, okay, so let's start. Let's actually, one of the things I want to talk to you about is this idea of, okay, so you know, there's just so many things. I mean, so many things I could say about this, not about my solo, about what I'm searching for, what I'm seeking for as I go through this each time. It's a beautiful puzzle to figure out how to try to like unlock the sweet spots of the transitions and the notes and the chords that just have the most impact and the bang for the buck. Let's start with the end. Let's just take a listen to this phrase and see if I nail it here in terms of the timing, not the, here it comes. That part right there. That's intriguing to me because I play the exact same thing. I play a thing here, and then I play the exact same thing up a half a step. And it works because the chord doesn't exactly go up a half step. We have A flat major, and then we go to B minor E7. But what is that? That's 2-5 in the key of A. So ostensibly underneath that, we really have A flat to A major. So I play the idea 5, 5, 3, 3, 2, 3, and then I treat this measure as if it were just A major. So what's cool about that is that I keep the information the same. I move it up a half step, but we get a melodic structure that helps the ear anchor to something. It's not just playing up and down the chord. There's a thing there. It's a musical statement. It's small, and we can retain that. And I'm not playing just the chord tones. I'm not beholden to them alone. I know what's underneath them. That's how I can get this sound. It would sound less cool if the chord were doing the exact same thing. If it was, then we just get into parallelism and sequencing. I'm not really as interested in that. So we'll go back to the top here and talk about a few things that you can do. So basically, I'm really looking for ways that, like, how am I doing this through the chord tones? When am I doing this? Perhaps, you know, where do I have options to do this? Let me give you an example. If I played a D flat on this B flat minor chord, that would be the third of that chord, all right? And if I held it that D flat, you could now call a C sharp against this B minor, and it would be the ninth. So the note would stay exactly the same. It would be the third, the ninth, the 13th, the third, the ninth, the 13th, and then the third of a different chord. Instead of a minor third, a major third. And this is going along great until, boom, right here. If you don't do something, that's not going to sound so good right there. You got to make an adjustment, a pivot. Then you got to know things like, well, this dominant chord appearing here, is it in a regular 11 or a sharp 11? Well, it's contextual because we're actually coming from a C sharp, so you could say that it's a D flat here, but we're going, and this could end up being Lydian. The point is you got to try this stuff out. It's not a hard and fast rule. I think you can make a case that both would work, but you need to it's like ear and brain. You got to try this stuff out and figure it out, and that's what this is about. That's why the repetition of playing it. You want to try these things. Okay, let's listen to whatever the heck I came up with. Okay, so the first thing is I descend. Blue ba ba bo dee bo do bo do bo da. So there's kind of the shape of that phrase. So, basically, I know the chords are going to ascend, so I'm looking for a way to initially descend into them. So that's thing number two. Thing number one was keeping something the same while other things change, okay? So that was at the end here where I played the same, that's the exact same phrase and the chords changed. And I did move the phrase, but the phrase pattern stayed directly intact. Okay, anyway. So this one now is more about direction. I'm often looking for contrary motion. Can you look for ways to go in an opposing direction to what the chords are doing? So let's keep listening. Okay, so right here, so I'm creating an ascending phrase as we have this 2, 5, 1 going down, right? And I'm looking for my phrase to ascend contrarily motion-y into that. Now, I play this over this. Isn't that lovely? And then the chord goes to here, so I think, what can I do? What do I do? Let's see. I think let's go back. So I delay it a little bit, but I go. So I kind of have this. And it is parallel, but because we changed from major to dominant, it's kind of interesting. It's not exactly parallel. Now, if we listen, we keep going. We're here. You might not initially hear that as the same thing, but I hear that as the same phrase continued. Something a little different, and then it's a variation on that. But in my mind, I'm holding a structure. I'm holding this. I'm holding in here. I'm going See, that's if I'm thinking about something, I'm thinking about that, and then what my available notes, like anchor notes and tension notes are, or extension notes, okay, this dominant chord here, for instance, you don't want to alter this dominant because it's not resolving down a fifth. That's generally where you want to do more alterations of dominance, is when they resolve down a fifth. Not always, but as a general rule. So I'm not looking to turn this into like a sharp 9 or altered chord. I'm going to keep this pretty in the pocket, maybe treat it as Lydian dominant, but in terms of choices to grab from. Let's keep listening. Sorry. Okay, we're here. It's not anything earth-shattering here, but I go bo be da da da, and then here I go ba ba bi da da da. So kind of like, keeping it similar. Okay, right there, that's interesting. I go. So I hit some important notes, the major 7, but we have this shape. And then on the next chord, I go. So take the chords out. And that's you get a leap there, but the shape, the organization of notes is the same. Bo, be, bo, do, de. I didn't go that far, actually. So bo, be, bo, do, de. Kind of do that here. And then here I go. boo dee boo doo dee. So it's an exaggerated version of that prior move, but it keeps intact, you know? And how do I know to make that F natural go to the C sharp? Well, with the sharp 9 chord and I was going down a fifth to minor, what's waiting for me here? Well, an F natural, not an F sharp, right? So that's going to be present in this dominant chord, a flat 13. And it takes time and experience too, but you know, I'm searching again for anchor notes and color notes so I can continue this phrase with some common notes. You know, the E natural is this major 7th here, but now it's the 5th here. And the F natural is 1 here, but here it's the flat 13. And then what I do next is, you want to hear this resolve. That's what you want to hear. I skip it. I go. So we get this from bottom and then above and then there it is. It's a delayed resolution, and then I just come down from here from the 9th. Let's listen to this. And then this is a very important moment right here because I descend the phrase down and I know that I want to target this transitional moment from a C going to a B. Why? Because that flat 7 on the 2 chord going to the 3rd of the 5 chord in one note, in a single note, signals that chord change, okay? Very important as a single line player to have a good handle on that voice leading. But another thing I do is I know I'm gonna do that. It's not like prescribed like at the beginning of this chorus, I know I was gonna do it. No, it's happening now. Just as I'm arriving there, I'm like, oh, wouldn't it be nice if I came down somehow and hit that? And then the fun part, the improvising part, is finding a path that I didn't know existed yet to that destination, right? And so here, it's also delayed. Here I'm able, because I know what I'm about to do, that's key. I can be perhaps a little more expressive with the rhythm. I can lay it back because this one I know what I'm aiming for. I have a target and I'm aiming for it. So let me just delay my arrival, you know, be like fashionably late to that resolution there, okay? So that's something you can try. Now I just set something up. Now here's a big moment. Su-do-do-da-da-da. I go like this. I hit the flat 7, I hit the flat 3rd, I hit the 9th. I'm not gonna try to play everything on the piano that I play on the sax, but that's a very definitive phrase, right? Let's go back and listen to just see if you know. Okay, now what I'm thinking in that space, over this next block, I want to do the same thing melodically. Somehow I want to go ba da 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 da. That's what I'm thinking. So now I'm looking at these changes with kind of like an agenda. I don't know, like what's the word? A destination, an idea of where I would like to go inside them instead of just like, you know. So I have this do da 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 da. Da. Okay, great. Now let me come into here, and again, knowing what notes are more important and how and when they matter. You know, like in this chord change right here, if you play a G natural, that thing better go to F sharp right here. I mean, not better, because there's always exceptions to the rules, right? But like until you can play by the rules, you can't break the rules. So there's some things to look out for. But let's listen to the phrase that I come up with. Okay, so now that's the last time I did it. 3 times. I don't want to keep doing it after that. That's enough. I've stretched the idea, but I've made my way through those 6 bars with a very structurally demonstrative idea. It's a melodic idea that keeps repeating and morphing and allows me to address these chords in a meaningful way that, again, if you took the backing track away, you would still hear the harmony in my melodic playing. And that's something that I'm always, again, practicing toward. I always want to be trying to get better at that. Sorry, phone has gone off. Okay, so now I'm gonna wrap it up into here, and like I was saying before, like knowing what's available to you, F and B flat, like those are gonna carry, some of those alterations on this chord can carry into this chord, but let's hear what actually happens. Same thing here, right? Same thing happens here. I kind of emphasize this E flat to the same way that I did up here with the C to B in this 2-5. So I'm thinking about that I want to make that change. Like, as an example, if instead I had just held an F would be common to both of these chords. And so you could hold an F here and it would be right. It wouldn't offend the ear, but it would be the root of this chord and it would be the fifth of that chord. So it would be really sad. You know, it would be just a sad choice. And it'd be really sad for those two measures to just have an F held over both of them. I think it wouldn't bless anybody. You know what I mean? You're not going to get feels from that. So moving right along, for instance, another thing that's popping out at me here, like let's check, I can't write this stuff in or it'll look like crap, but check this out. Like here's something else I would be looking for. Just, you want to start to see this stuff. Okay, check it out. G, this is a G, boom, flat third of this. And then that G moves down to an F over here, flat 13 of this, G, G, F. And then that F moves down to an E flat, which I can't get this thing to write, but it's an E flat. Just pretend that's an E flat, okay? I don't want to, it's going to mess up if I try to make a flat sign. And then that E flat moves to a D natural right here. And then that D natural moves to a D flat here. Oh, I thought I turned I'm just having the worst time with the technique. Just stop bothering me. Do not disturb. Okay, so G, F, E flat, that's an E flat. D flat, a beautiful. So as these changes are going like this, you can create lines around this guide tone line happening inside the changes by being aware of important notes and looking for ways to connect them like this. Okay, here we are, last chapter. What do you think I'm gonna do? Look what's coming up. I guess what I'm gonna do. Not that you have to do this, but it's definitely a helpful practice. How can I repeat some similar version of what I just did there here? It doesn't have to be exact, but can I reflect it? Can I make it rhyme? And where we started. Okay, so now it's your turn. Boom, from there off to the races. So that is again, it's a sophisticated gauntlet of harmony to work through, and it will offer a lot of challenges at also a tempo that will challenge you to have a really good feel, in my opinion. So there's a lot of great stuff to work on here, and it's not something to be afraid of. It's a fertile ground to shed in, but I hope that sounded yeah, we'll just leave that. But seriously, I just spent a lot of time, you know, over the years doing this, looking at blank measures with chord changes and trying to paint new pictures on them each time. And it's a really beneficial practice. And I know it's easy to get lost in the weeds about this stuff. So this was hopefully a way of just kind of showing you, like, pulling the weeds aside, or I don't know what, these are tall weeds, if that's what I'm, oh, is this even recording?